Morning, beautiful. Lovely to be out here with you. Can you hear the birds? I'm sure you can. It's really nice, just listening. Is that a blackbird or a thrush? I think it's a thrush. Let me show you the sky. While we're enjoying the bird song, this is quite beautiful. Good morning, good morning. There's Mount Kaukau and the sunset. Well, this is where I see the sunset. Nefertiti, good morning, beautiful. Here's the day. It's just lovely to be a bit quiet and enjoy the sounds. Morning, Linda. It's a beautiful sky. So, it's very soft sky. And here it is. And I have to show you, and I showed you yesterday, but I'm showing you today too. Look at the magnolia, just covered in flowers. I love these little fuzzy things. They remind me of pussy willows. Just beautiful. And early jonquils, completely unseasonal. They used to come out in, I don't know, October. So anyway, now it's June and they're doing it. And jonquils, which I am just savouring because I've managed to prop them up this year so they haven't fallen over and gotten eaten by bugs and completely ruined. Good morning, Amy! Look at these, aren't they beautiful? I just love them, and that they're not falling over. Oh, and look, we have a single jonquil here. There you go, just the first flower on this spike. So they'll all come up. And actually, let's just take a moment. Ranger leaves. Look at the range of colours and textures. They've all been chewed, but there's fresh green in the middle. I just love this transition. Morning, Andrea. So I'm just enjoying, the things that happen at this time of the year aren't spectacular, but they're beautiful. These leaves were redder before. I forgot to show them to you. Look at that. Aren't they glorious? Just love that. So, what else have we got here? We have the soldiers and sailors. Bugloss. Just beautiful, beautiful foliage. Good morning, Julian. It's great to see you. Both the captain and number one are on the bridge now, and all is well. And look at this. This is a native that grows in New Zealand. You can see it looks kind of ancient and old. That's because it is. I just love this stuff. I love all these quiet little things that you don't notice when there's flashy flowers around. All right, let me get started. God, it's nice to be out here today, and it's very peaceful and quiet. And today I want to talk about when the bombshell lands, when your life changes in a moment. Because some of us have this, and actually, I'm thinking of a particular friend, but she's not the only one who is going through something like this or has gone through something like this and been, oh my God, one moment ago I knew who I was and I knew which way was up and I knew where I was standing, and now it's like the rug's been ripped out from underneath my feet. Tristan, it is lovely to see you. Good morning. So I want to talk about the rugs being ripped out from underneath your feet moment, because it's a moment that is going to, look, it's going to brand you emotionally, right? Because when you have a powerful emotional experience, which anything that is life-changing, enormous, morning sunshine, anything like that is going to have a high emotional quotient. And when you have an experience with a high emotional quotient, your brain, your body, you notice the changed experience inside you, and this is how the brain works. You have a strong response inside your body. Your brain is always going to look, smell, hear, taste, feel, temperature, light, everything. Hi, Nora. Lovely to see you, beautiful people, all of you. Your brain is always going to take in all of the sensory information that is there in that moment. It's going to take a 360 degree, 256 million colours snapshot of everything in your environment and associate all of that with that powerful emotional experience. That's just what happens. And because we've got a powerful emotional experience, you know that the brain has made a whole bunch of new neural connections, because it's the new neural connections that mean you get neurotransmitters, that mean you get neuropeptides, that mean you get a lot of instructions to the hormonal centres and the autonomic nervous system to go, we are having a really powerful emotion in this moment. So you know, the more powerful the emotion, the more is firing and wiring in your brain. Be it good, bad, doesn't matter. Good emotion, just the same. It's just that because when you have a powerfully negative experience, the brain is geared towards survival and it says, I got to watch out for this. I got to remember this to try to avoid it next time. And so then you get into the thing of replaying the story and retelling it to yourself, and people say, oh, what's wrong with you? What happened? And you tell the story again, and you experience it again, and already the more you think about it and process it and think about, well, I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to respond this way, and I feel this way, and I have all these justifiable reactions, because I've been hurt or whatever, the more you fire and wire that experience, and you can just continue to make it real for yourself, which is all very natural and normal, because when you have a powerful experience, it's very natural and human to do that. We go over it, we think about it, we process it, and there is a degree to which we need to do that, right? But what happens to me, what used to happen to me before I understood this, was I would get stuck in it. And around and round and round and round and round and round. Yeah, reframe. And particularly now, reframe means that you are conscious enough to see what you're doing. Mohammed, it's great to see you. A reframe means you're conscious enough to see what's going on, to think about it, to step back from it, to observe yourself, to exercise your power of metacognition, which is the ability to observe, to think about what you're thinking about, right? That means you're present enough to yourself to actually do that. But if you are still completely overwhelmed by the emotions, because this is a really powerful experience, and it's like it's traumatic and your life is turned upside down and everything is overwhelming, it's like, oh shit, I don't know which way's up. I want to address that situation. And I have to be careful here actually, because I don't know that I have personally been through that level of huge disruption, one moment from one moment to the next. I've had things that for me qualified as really powerful and really scary, but that didn't completely turn my life on its head. So I want to make it clear that I'm speaking from my experience of dealing with things that were traumatic to me, which if I was to say, oh, it was this and this and this, you might say, well, what the hell were you having a fuss about? But I guess because it was a deal for me, right? And everybody's hot point is different anyway. But just in case anyone thinks I'm talking out of a hole in my head, there are things that I haven't been through and I don't know what it's like. So, take what's useful to you and leave the rest. That's my only thing that I will say. And I'm learning, and I'm speaking from what I've learned from my absolute hero, Joe Dispenza, because he's done the research, and I'm reading his books, I've listened to him, I'm learning from him. So I'm talking with a smattering of understanding of neuroscience as well, and what the brain actually does. That's where all that information about what the brain does and the snapshot and the playing it over and over and the fact that that's about surviving and avoiding it next time comes from. So if you're in these really powerfully negative emotions, and you could say that I was stuck in one long negative emotion for, 53 years? Okay, so I know about that, believe me. And I remember when I was 21, newly married to my first husband, things were difficult. I had horrendous insomnia. I wasn't sleeping, I was sleeping half a night maybe, and of course I was emotionally very distressed. And I remember my brain used to just go round and round and round, and I didn't understand that was a bad thing, and I was just thinking these angry, resentful thoughts for hours, days, months, years. It became who I was. I programmed myself with it. So I know about being stuck in a negative emotional state, and I didn't even realise that what I was doing, how it worked, and what the story was. Now I do. The point being, the absolutely essential thing being, that when you have a really powerful experience, you can get stuck in it and it can become who you are. It defines you. Because remember, if like me, you get stuck in the emotion of disempowerment, anger, frustration, desperation, fear, I can't change this, this is impossible, life is just hard all the time, and also not even understanding that was what I was feeling, because, life is just like this. Had no idea it could be different, really, truly. If you're stuck there, and you don't know that you're stuck there, and you stay there, what are you doing? You are conditioning your body with all those stress hormones. You are pushing the genetic switches for disease. Ultimately, something is going to change. That's just fact. It's epigenetics in action. Oh my God, to think that I programmed my body for more than 30 years this way. Jane, good morning. Because I didn't know any better. I did not understand. But this is why it is so essential to break our really powerfully negative emotional states and not get stuck into that loop of thinking and feeling, pouring that chemistry, which then the moment you pour that chemistry, you really feel like crap. And so you think more crappy thoughts, and then you feel more like crap, and then you think more crappy thoughts, and you get the idea. It literally becomes self-sustaining. And then it just becomes the normal about who you are. And that was the thing. It became me to be like that. And I stayed like that for such a long time. And I didn't even know that I was like that and that it was normal for me to be unhappy and frustrated and sad. And now it's drizzling again like yesterday, so I'm going to go inside. This was just who I was. Let me do a time check when I'm walking. Okay. So how do you get out of it? How do you change your state? Let me navigate the steps. You see, we're going from one state to another and through my very scruffy laundry. And you know what? I'm grateful I've got a laundry because there's many people who don't. And into the very dark lounge because there's no sun, because it's grey out there, right? And just got to get myself organised here, which is a bit awkward because it's set up for the next thing that's going to happen here, and I've got to move the table and put the box here that I rest my phone on. Okay, now I'm sort of set up. Right. I can put the clock where I can see it. That's always nice too. And square us up so I'm not all wonky. Right, I'm no longer wonky. That's always a good thing. I don't know that I need that today. So what do you do, okay? So this is a thing that I do every morning now. And there's two things about this. You've got to change your state. Yes, you have to get out of that state. And it's one thing to say, I've got to change my state. But the other thing is to say, well, what the hell am I changing my state to? Particularly when your life's just been turned upside down and all the things that you thought you were moving towards, your predictable future, is just evaporated in a moment. I mean, as a planet, we experienced this when COVID-19 hit and everything shut down, and suddenly, our normal lives, what? Where's my normal life? It's gone. And it's not coming back either. It's got to be different for lots of reasons. It's still really different for many people. So, your life can change in an instant and you're not expecting it and you're thinking, oh, shit, well, what do I look forward to now? What's my future now? How do I plan now? How do I imagine myself now? And how in hell can I feel good about any of this? So that's the conundrum. That's the challenge. And so every morning, and this has been key for me, this has really helped me change my state. And I do it every morning now. Every morning I sit down to do my meditation, right? I sit here and I put on my laptop, which, plays the things. And I put on my blindfold. Where is it? Because even though it's dark, it's just, it's just a scarf. Put it over my face. And I put on my headset. even though it's dark, I know that by the time I've finished it's going to be light, and I find the light really distracting. I do not want to be aware of the time and the space and where I am. I just want to be gone and deep in the unified field and connected with possibility. And I do this little 13-minute meditation that Joe created as part of his response to COVID-19. He created Go Love 20. If we've got COVID-19, let's have Go Love 20. Let's spread a love virus. Let's spread a love bug. And he did. Touched at least 500,000 people with that thing. It's amazing. Certainly touched me. Oh my God. Completely changed my life. Really. 15-minute meditation. So powerful. If you want to know where to get it, go find the Joe Dispenza fan page and look on the videos. There's a bunch of links and there's videos, and it is on there in a number of different languages because it got translated. So I grabbed that, and then a couple of weeks later he said there's going to be a mutation, so he brought out a mutation, and the mutation is called You Inspire Me, and it's all about letting somebody that you love inspire you, right? And so I did that. I actually did that one first. I couldn't face Go Love 20, but I did You Inspire Me. And I've been doing that a lot recently. It's a long story, I haven't got time to tell it. But what I ended up doing was becoming inspired by my future self. And that's what I do now. Practically every time I sit down to meditate. And if I had only a quarter of an hour, I would do this meditation. Particularly if I was pressured and feeling rotten and crappy and like, oh my God, I can't deal with life. I would sit down and do this meditation for 13 minutes. Because really, if I do it with myself, my future self as a focus, all I get to do is like, it's time to change your energy. And he talks me through it. And I start to get heart-centered, and I remember who I'm becoming, who I already am. I remember my future again. I fall in love with my future again. I start to feel that I'm in my future. And whatever I was feeling before I sat down in those 13 minutes, I am closer to feeling like who I want to be and further away from whatever I was when I woke up in the morning, maybe tired, maybe feeling like there's a lot I've got to do today. All of that just isn't so loud anymore. Morning, Lisa! And I guess this is what I want to say. If you want a 13-minute tool, which is going to grow, right? The first time I did this with myself, my future self, and I had kind of visions of my future sort of drop into my awareness in meditation before, so I kind of started with those. And it's just this particular beach that I'm on, and I could see what time of day it was, and it was beautiful, and there's certain people there, and I knew that it meant certain things had happened in my life. And so I started there. It's like every time I do this process now, I go back to that beach. And, since I go back to the beach, right, and I've seen that, now it's nighttime and there's a bonfire and we're sitting around it and we're so grateful and we're so full of joy for what we've created. And there's before that time, and I see some of the things that we might be doing on this day. And I know, because I'm building this neural net more and more and more about what that future means and what it means I've done, I know that a certain bunch of things have happened for me to be here with these people at this time, having this experience. And so I'm creating that and I'm remembering it every single day now. It's because I love this so much. And it always moves me, one way or another. It moves me to laughter or, a moment of tears or just sheer, oh, wow, this is real. And that is how, if you want to change your state, I honestly recommend you do it. It's a small investment of your time. And man, it really helps me shift myself. I have at occasions when I've been really in a mess said, I need to change this. And I have sat down and done that. 13 minutes later, I'm in a different space. So that is my go-to. If I desperately need to change my space, that is what I will do. And what have I done by no longer, even if it's for 5 minutes, like I do the 13 minutes, and for 5 minutes, if my world is turned to shit around me. Hi, Amy, good morning. My world is turned to crap. But maybe just for those 13 minutes, I'm taking my attention off all those scary, difficult things that I've got to deal with. And maybe for 5 minutes afterwards, I'm not thinking about them. I just let myself rest. So for 18 minutes, my body gets a break from the stress hormones, from the conditioning, from the endless looping, from the, oh my God, I've got to deal with all this stuff. My life is crazy. Do you see what I mean? You literally become someone else for that time. While you maintain that state, you are not the traumatized person. You are in your future. And it is that simple. I'm not saying it's easy. It takes a huge effort of will to turn your attention away from something that's so painful or so difficult that it's grabbed all of your attention, said, oh wow, this is huge, you've been hurt, you have so many reasons to feel upset, you're justified, and you are. But you've got to ask yourself, is anybody or anything actually worth hurting yourself like that? Without taking a break from it. You're going to have the feelings. I'm not saying don't have the feelings. I'm not saying you shouldn't react. I'm not saying there isn't a grieving process to go through when you have a huge loss. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is it's a defining moment when you decide I am not going to have this traumatic experience and these emotions define my future. And I have to break them, and I have to start falling in love with my future, and I don't know what the hell my future looks like. I got to at least, start with a kernel like I'm standing on the beach, right? That was it. The first time I saw it, like, oh my God, I'm on the beach. This is beautiful. Came out of nowhere. Start with something and build it. Understand you're not going to know. Your future is unknown to you. It's completely blown up and fallen apart. And you know what? If that's happened, it probably needed to. Everything you thought you were planning probably wasn't as aligned for you as you thought it was. And we have these powerful experiences and they upset us, they disrupt us, and they open up huge possibilities. And in that disruption, in that chaos, there is a birthing, there is creation, there is opportunity. And if you stay fixated on the past, both what's recently happened, oh my God, how powerful that is, and all that it means you've lost, then you can't move into your future. And it takes an enormous effort of will to overcome our very natural and normal inclination to do that. This is what happened to me, and it's sad and I'm upset and everything. It's really very human. So what I'm saying, postscript, is that to willfully change your state and take your attention off all that stuff and do something else, morning Violet, that's supernatural. It's natural to do the other thing. It's natural to get buried in a difficult experience. It's natural to say this is hard, I can't overcome it, I have every reason to be upset and get depressed and angry and, all of that stuff. You do. That's natural. But if you want a different result in your life, you're going to have to do something that feels unnatural. And if you keep doing what's unnatural, it's going to become more natural to you, and eventually, because you did what was unnatural, you're going to become supernatural. That's just how it works. I've been doing it. I have evidence now. I know it works. So that's what I wanted to say. No matter what it is, you have the ability to choose to change. And it's not natural. It's supernatural. But when you do make supernatural choices, you get supernatural results. You have to practice. You have to be determined and dedicated to your future and yourself. But it works. So much love. I can't believe it's Friday. I live in no time and I accomplish everything. That's really all I can say these days. Time? What's time? Thank you for joining with me. It's been an amazing week. All my love. Look out for resonant replays, and I'll see you Sunday, Monday. Bye-bye.